Hi, viewers, me and team here, now bringing you the much more orthodox play of rifles and cannons on Let's Play Civilization 4 multiplayer with Mao. So I'm working the AI over here, and we're getting close to the end of the game now. I think we're going to have one or two more episodes after this. Not certain, but it's going to be around that. So sit back, enjoy, and watch the gradual conclusion of the game here. Alright, I'll take us to the questions in the comments for the last episode. First one is by Red94. I've heard that Civ has a relatively big female fan base, but on forums I haven't seen that many. According to a poll of the forums, there's an 11-to-1 ratio, but hey, maybe that's good compared to other games. In your Mao game, there are 2, if I've understood it correctly, female gamers. In your multiplayer games, how often do you play with female gamers? Well, okay, actually, in the Polycast group, and as always, I'll leave a link to the description into Polycast, which is a podcast about Civ 4 strategy and some other things. But anyway, we have two of our regular co-hosts are female, and then one more of the players who plays with the Polycast group in general is also female. So we have 3, and I'd say on any given weekend at least 1 and usually 2 of them are playing. Now, is that representative of the general population? I have no idea, and I don't think anybody knows. I will say that I think there's the female playing audience is probably more casual, because even the people that are on my panel really don't show up on the forums as much, for example. I think the forums are a bit more of a representation of your extreme towards the people who take the game more seriously, or the people who play the game at the higher level, or whatever, or the people who are trying to play the game at a higher level. And I don't think you'll see as many females there. The stigma against girls playing video games is going away, but that's a gradual process. So you're not going to see like a ton. I don't really know the ratio for other games, but I'd say that Civ does better than, say, like Call of Duty or something. So, yeah, you take what you can get. Alright, next question is by Fiero2424. What's the best Civ for rushing? Well, that depends on your settings. You can pick Inca, and if you're running with Marathon, you can pretty much rush on any difficulty with your starting warriors. So, if you're playing Marathon, Inca, definitely. Otherwise, really, Egypt is strongly competitive with any other Civ in the game. So is Persia, so is Rome. A little bit underlooked, but still very good, is the Sumerians, if you can find copper. The Vulture is much better against archers than standard axes. Even though in some situations, and that's only some, they're weaker against axes. But the Vulture is still an excellent rush unit. A lot of the Hall of Fame games have done really well with them. And you can go more generic things like Stalin, because he actually starts with mining already, so you're really close to bronze working. And you get aggressive axes. So, and also the Malinese, maybe a little bit more so multiplayer than single player, but even in single player, the skirmishers are pretty ridiculous. So you have some civs to choose from in terms of rushing, I would say. Next one is by random name 01100. That's pretty random, but kind of binary. Can you rank the top 5 strongest and weakest AIs to play against? Thanks. Well, that's kind of arbitrary. I'll put it this way. If you're looking for strong AIs, either go with somebody who has creative as one of their traits, they follow the growth flavor, and they like hereditary rule as a favorite civic. And that's pretty much takes care of everyone except for Shaka, who is also one of the top AIs. So, AIs like Catherine, Gilgamesh, Shaka, Suri, and Zara, they're all up there, and there's more. Now, the bottom feeders are the ones who really don't expand enough. They might chase early religion, but they're so small that they're just sitting ducks to anybody, you or the AI. And very frequently those are leaders like Elizabeth or Wang Khan, or it's hard to pick them out. Usually Gandhi's pretty weak sauce. It's harder to get a readily identifiable bottom tier of AI. But yeah, the AIs that really underexpand and give up their land to other AIs, they tend to be pretty bad. So I'd roll with them. Next question is by SilverSteel09, and he asks, well, my question is, what's the best civ for war and teching? I know there's such a thing as the best civ, but I don't know who to play with. Right now, I'm playing with Rome and Vikings. By the way, I play an Emperor if that helps. Well, the best civ for war and teching. That's a little bit iffy. I guess you want to do both, because there's a best civ for one and there's a best civ for the other, probably. But if you want both, then Rome and the Vikings are actually a really good call. Also consider Carthage, although I'm not really impressed with their unique unit. Their economy is excellent, and they have a war trait in Hannibal. Either Persian leader, but especially Darius, if you want to go in a really early rush with the Immortals. And well, you can go for more generic things too, like somebody who's got a good mid-game unique unit like Zara, or really anybody. But I would say that Rome and the Vikings are two of the top ones if you want to do both. Another good one would be Alexander, because he's philosophical, and you can really keep up with your great Persian production while you're fighting without too much effort. It's not like you have to work a bunch of cottages then and kill your production. You can just basically run great people in one city and get pretty good returns for doing it. So, but those are your options. Although, like I said, leader traits really don't make anywhere near the difference that a quality start versus a bad start will make. So you can pretty much use anybody in war and tech. This game in particular kind of showcases that. I mean, there's really not much to Mao's offensive generally. I mean, I know he's the Chokonos here. But generally speaking, there's not much offense to China. But like any other civ, if they have the racehorses and they have the cities, you can put out enough units to wreck people. And next question is by Warsir3401, and he asks, can you just make a video on tips on Civilization, or have you already made one? I actually already replied to this in the comments and said that a video like that would take forever. Like, it would probably be an entire Let's Play series by itself rather than just a video, because there's a ridiculous number of tips, and I wouldn't even know where to start. So if you want to go with something along those lines, I ask that you be a little bit more specific, so that I have some idea where to take you guys in terms of the tips, because otherwise I can just ramble for probably, I don't know, approximately an eternity. Not quite an eternity, but close. So yeah. Next question by Father Tuck. How long did it take you to advance through difficulty levels Prince to Immortal? Oh, well, I'll answer that how I like answering that. And that is that I got to Monarch really within about a month or so. Maybe a month and a half. Because I started at Settler. I didn't play a lot of Civ 3. I mean, I played a little bit. And got to like Regent or something. But I never really took it seriously. Civ 4 was when I started playing Civ more seriously. And I was on the forums pretty much from when I was Settler level until now. So I would say about a month and a half I was already at Monarch. I still remember my first Monarch win on the forums. That was an awesome game. Just mass horse archer charge everywhere. We weren't even allowed to build libraries. But back to the question. How long from there? Well, from Monarch to Immortal, from Monarch to Emperor, that really took me a couple months. I go from Emperor to Immortal, a couple more months. I don't remember the exact quantity. I know, like, the summer after I joined the forums, I was struggling on Emperor, but then I picked it up, and I stayed at Emperor probably, actually, for about half a year. And then finally I moved up to Immortal. I could have moved up much more rapidly, and anyone else pretty much could too, if you really wanted to fine-tune your micro carefully, game in, game out, really think about your actions. But I didn't. And then the Immortal University game I posted, that was pretty new to Immortal when I posted that on the Let's Play. But getting used to it, I'd just taken over the Immortal U and was starting to improve on that difficulty. Yeah, I lost a city back here in this game. And I have won a couple times on deity. I still am not real big on doing a let's play of it, just because any little thing can go wrong, and the outcome is usually decided by player action to an extent, but not always. So yeah, definitely not ideal for a let's play. Plus, I just don't like playing there, especially since Immortal is still challenging. And yeah, that'll about take care of the time I have in this video. I'll try to address the question about castles in the next one. Anyway, I'll see you then. The Mean Team, signing off.